So, as we all know, BeamNG likes to market itself as an incredibly realistic vehicle simulation game. But I would like to make a counterpoint to that. This is the Ibishu Miramar, an absolutely fantastic little car. I love it, quite old and from Japan. But there's one very, very clear thing that is wrong with this car. Let's say I'm going for a drive and I go around a corner and do you see the issue? Do you see it right there? Right there. When I turn the steering wheel, it does what I wanted to do, which is not what you expect from a car of this age. What'd be more likely is something quite like this. So, how do I fix this issue? The big thing is even though it shows things like ball joints and where you might find bushings, none of that actually exists. Let's bring up some beams, let's bring up some triangles. Steering is back here. So this is basically just a beam that then goes to another beam, and there is no slop or play in there. So what am I gonna do? Well, first let's have a look at the JBeam itself for the steering. It should be under, we're just gonna go with the normal suspension for now and just do a cheaty little steering search. And then we have our slide nodes, our rails, our nodes, and our beams. Okay, so what does what? FX 5 and 6 are the steering box itself. Let's turn nodes on. And then 5 and 6, you say? I mean, I'm not seeing a 5 or 6 around here. Do we see one over here? 5R, perfect. Where's 6? Oh, it's right there. This is the side of the steering wheel. And if we turn, we can see that 6R stays where it is. Is there a 6L that's a part of this then? Well, there is the other 6 here, but it's not actually anything. As you can see, it's invisible. Okay, so that's a bit of an unusual one. Probably just to hold this thing in place. Let's get a better look. No, actually it does have a bracket there. Okay, perfect. Let's work with that. Make a new mod called Sloppy Steering. Boy, this is gonna be the most realistic thing ever. Drag that suspension in, bunch up everything we don't need, because all we need is just the steering section, of which there's a lot of stuff that is not steering. Okay, that can be deleted. Rename this so people know who to blame when things go wrong, and call this Sloppy Steering. Now, there's 2 ways in which I could play this. Or actually, you know what? With this tolerance value that's unaligned here, that could also be an option. So we could have a middle steering part that like slops around a little bit, but I don't think that's gonna give us much lateral movement. It might, so I could probably do that. But the other options is there's ways in which you could set a node to basically have beams. So when it moves a certain amount, after a certain ratio amount of change in length, it will then start applying the beam strength and dampening. So it kind of like holds it in that range. Now, that's good, but that's a part of a beam which has a type which may not match. I'll talk about that in a second. The other one is I replace the tie rod ends with my tie rod ends, then attach my tie rod ends to theirs and give that one that extra value. All right, let me get into the beam type. You may have noticed this, but beam type normal is everywhere, and it makes no goddamn... Why are you flashing? I have a new install of Windows, so things are funny buggers at the moment. But yeah, so this beam type becomes a problem. Not everything. Yeah, as you can see, this is now a bounded type, and then it goes back to normal types. Beam types suck, and I wish that it was just clearer, easier, I don't know, different than what it is. And if you have a look at the official documentation, it's not very super clear. We have like sets type of beam, possible values, normal, hydro, bounded, like it's... I hate it. And this then goes into the bounded types and then support types, and none of it's like really clear as to which ones can do which thing, and it becomes really annoying. So if we have a look at our car, we can see that the tie rod end node is FH3L, which comes under the bounded type. Wait, no, hold on. Wait, I'm confused. There's one that's under a normal type, which connects us to FX7L. Let's have a look right there. Okay, yep, no, that's the connection. But I'm actually wanted to be mounted. I can't remember which one has like slop and then movement. So this is gonna get a little bit tricky. See why I was saying that this is not, like, it gets complicated as to how I want to do this. Can I make this work the way I want it to? Wait, no, hold on, this causes a... But this actually is going to work slightly different out of the two ways. Let me explain it. The first way I was going to do this was going to have a slop between here and here, which is that one beam I was telling you about. So that would be how that slops. But if I had another node here, then the slop would be between the new node and that one there. And I just don't know which one I want to go with, to be honest. I think we're just going to try it out and see if it actually works the way we want to do. So we're going to grab... actually, hold on. Frickin', is there a normal version in it? There's not a normal beam type described here. Well, that's fun. How far the beam can expand before the limit property begins to apply. So let's hope that bounded beam is the type we want. Grab that bit of code, and hopefully I could just slop it in there. Then to make sure that this doesn't apply to everything else, we're just going to paste in a normal bound type that we would see. So... now, 0 would mean that the limit of properties begin to apply as soon as the beam expands. 0.5 would mean that the beam can expand to 150%. Great. Well, I mean, why wouldn't it be 1, then move from around 1? Like, get rid of both of them and just have 1. Come on. So if it's at long bound 1, then that means that it can go up to 100 extra percent? Whatever. Let's change that to 0.1. Then beam short bound, oh god. Beam short bound, 0 would mean that the limit properties begin to apply as soon as the beam begins to contract, would mean that the beam would can contract 50% of its spawning limit and properties begin to apply. 1 would mean that it can be, okay then. Then let's also put that to 0.1. Okay, let's see if that works. We are gonna have to control L this sucker because I created a new folder structure and BeamNG won't read yet. Oh god. Front suspension, front steering is now sloppy steering. And let's get in real nice, oh god, way too fast. Let's get in nice and close. It doesn't look like it's changed at all. Looks exactly the same. Bugger. Whatever, let's grab support, plop that in here, and go back to here, and, oh, it's got the slop. Oh, it broke. All right, fine, let's go back to normal beams and see if just normal works. Oh, okay, nope, that's got a bit of slop in it. Does it? I think it does. And it breaks immediately. What the hell? My computer just shut itself off for no reason. Fantastic. All right, after that attempt from Big Beam to shut me down, I'm gonna change up what I'm doing. Goodbye to beam type because that was just not working for me. And then instead what we're gonna do is we're gonna create some extra nodes. And to do that, we're just gonna duplicate these two and then realize that I made a mistake. Have a look at the old suspension code, grab the actual nodes and plop them in here. But these are not gonna be FH, these are gonna be front hub slop. And then, okay, so this is where things get a little bit tricky. Import the JBeam and let's get a good look here. Let me try to visualize to you what it is we're going to be doing. Normally, say this is the connection between the steering rack and the front hub. It would like move a 1-to-1 sort of ratio. What we're doing is we're gonna offset this a little bit, so then there's a little bit of movement before it grabs and then pulls it along. So you're gonna get slop that way, which is gonna try to simulate things a little bit different. So let's go in here, grab these, and we're just gonna scale in a little bit, then export it back. Hopefully this will update. Yes, it did. I suppose I could have just manually done this, but I wanted to do it visually so then I could actually see how much we're bringing it in. Then we're gonna go down to our steering rack section, tie rod ends. Here we go. Duplicate these, make this to the sloppy, so then we're connecting the sloppy to the normal steering rack. Then what's gonna happen is we're gonna need to go from here to here. So then it's all connected up, except we don't need this here because we already got the one pre-compression thing. Okay, at the moment, steering feels pretty sharp and connected. Let's refresh and then, oh, damn it, it still looks very connected. Wait, have I put the steering on after I restarted my computer? Or after my computer restarted this? Nope, okay, there we go. Sloppy steering. Now when I steer, oh, look at that, we got a little bit of slop. Let's use my controller. Okay, there we go. You can see that we have A lot of slop. Okay. That might be a little too much slop. This was initially off by 0.55. Let's bring this back to 0.55. So there should be no slop. Let's quickly double check that. And now when I steer, it is perfect. Now let's create a variable. Damn it, there's no variable. Nope, there is a variable. Perfect. Steering slop. And how this is going to work is it's going to be slop outwards. Previously, you saw that I shrunk them in. This one's going to go outwards, so then people can clearly understand that they're not going to be adding a negative to... Yeah, either way, the minimum is going to be 0, and the maximum, we moved, I think it was like 0.2 of a millimeter. Wait, no, 2 centimeters. And I think 2 centimeters was too much. So maximum is going to be 0.3. So people can have like super sloppy steering if they want it. And I've also stuck in there a step dis, which is how small of a fine tune you could do. So millimeters, I think is good. Now, we grab our code here, going back up to our sloppy area, and we're gonna have to add a bit of math into this section. So quotation marks, $ equals, that was wrong. Oh, $ equals the thing that we've got, take 55? How's that work? No, that's wrong. Let's not do that. Let's have this, and then from here, we'll also take our value and end the quotation mark. Then on the positive side, we're gonna do a quote, $ equals, God, math is so confusing, plus that value, end quote. Okay, so what's gonna happen is it's going to make this more negative, which will make it more outwards, and this side will add it on to make it more the other way. Okay, now, quick little refresh. How much slop do we have? Huge, oh, I'm an idiot. 0.3 and 0.1 is 30 centimeters, which is like that long, and then 10 centimeters is like that long. I'm an idiot. It should be more along the lines of 0.03 and 0.01, though now this can go way up, I think. Refresh you, and then we still have a lot of play. Actually, how is this to drive in its current configuration? You know what? It's not the worst thing in the world, because we do only have to do half of it, considering that it's got self-centering with caster. A little bit of wheel wobble. Oh, that is funny. I think this thing might need a little bit more caster. Oh no, it's only under steering does it get the wobble. So quite smooth. Turning gets a little bit of bounce. Anyway, let's take this over to the racetrack. Blah. I'm gonna give this a quick try, but we're gonna start off with 0 steering slop, just so I can get the feel for it before we put it on. I just realized that I'm probably super dark, camera's out of focus, and you can see my doggo. All right, it feels fairly decent, though, you know what, I'm gonna control this gearbox manually, so we can bring it down, and it just feels like a good, nice, tight car that's really, really low on power and has terrible tires. Going around the corners, it's feeling fairly good. No problem whatsoever. It does feel a little bit lackadaisical with its steering feel, but it's old, so maybe that's to be expected a little bit, but I feel it doesn't have the slop that we want. So let's bring it to the straight here. And if I swerve back and forth a little bit, we do get a little bit of movement, but not nearly as much as you would expect from a car of this age. And I know, because my parents have an old 1970s Isuzu Ute, and that thing, oh boy, does it ever have slop, my God. Let's go in, and let's add in, yeah, 0.003. I mean, I could tell there's something not quite right with the steering at the moment, but we'll have to wait until we get to the straight. Going around corners feels pretty damn normal. I think I'm going to probably get my other YouTuber friends to try this out, or at least some people. Maybe I'll get some viewers in. Yeah, we'll get viewers to see if they can tell what's wrong with this car at the moment. Oh. Okay, turning in. And okay, yep. I'm getting more response on the left turn than the right turn when going around that corner. Like the straighten and turning more situation. Yeah, okay. It's a little bit noticeable, but with my force feedback being so dull in this car, it is really, really hard to tell. I'm getting nothing. No, oh, no, there we go. I felt it that time. There was like clear steering wheel movement, and then I felt the force feedback come in. You know what, actually, yeah, I can feel it a little bit more. That is fantastic. I might grab a whole bunch of viewers, stick them in, and see how long it takes for people to realize what it is that it's done. Though I am gonna have to change the name of the components, so then people might be able to tell, so people won't be able to tell what it is that I've done. My brain isn't working too well because this does take a lot more thought and consideration. All right, let's go say hello. Here is your task should you choose to accept. Drive around, it doesn't have to be on the track, it can be anywhere, and try to tell me what you think the mod is that I have done to this car to make it more realistic. Yeah?
It doesn't feel realistic, this just feels broken.
Oh, what the heck?
Just feels broken because it
Kinda is.
What is
Oh
going
my
on?
god.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, put your guesses in. So we got wiggling when moving, extremely botched steering job, tons of steering slop, intentional loosening of the steering rack in JBeam, steering rack is not connected, disconnected wheel hub. That is actually pretty darn close. If you go into the tuning menu, I've obscured the name, but there's a new tuning option there called steering adaptation. Turn that up to maximum and try again.
Oh gosh.
What is
Oh.
this?
Oh my.
Why?
Oh no. Oh, this is.
Wait, where do you find that?
I have 360 degrees of rotation before it does anything.
Oh, really?
Wait.
Damn.
Wait,
Wait,
how do I
I'm not
do
seeing
that?
anybody move.
This is so gross.
What?
This is dumb. It's just annoying.
Oh, imagine doing a race in this. Oh, this would be horrific.
So basically, what I have done is that slider that I've got in the settings menu drops the steering knuckle down, and that's the amount of slop you get in the steering. And steering slop was the term I actually used in the code. I hope all you viewers at home have enjoyed this. I had to handbrake to get the turning done. Bugger. Especially my channel members. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little bit of a down experimental lane. This will be available on the repository, but whilst it's waiting to get approved, it will be on my Patreon as well. But for now, I would like to thank my channel members for being channel members, obviously, and splurging all your money all over me. Let's also thank my top tier channel member. This is getting weird. Thank you, the Rogue Dick, the Crown Priest, for being a top tier channel member. For everyone else, though, I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.